Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is back in session. Here for another guest speaker episode at AOA Studios. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, be sure to reach out to us at aoastudios.org to book your session or service today. And again, this has kind of been a theme of 2025, having guests on that I've either had great relationships with for years and we just haven't sat down and done a podcast, or some recurrings. And this man right here is somebody who is very special to me, not only just as an artist, but as a person, as a friend. And he has a brand new project out. He was the singer-songwriter of the year at the 2022 BMAs, or 2023?
2022.
2022?
2023, I didn't take it home. But
that's right. I remember that. It was 2022. Yep. That was a fun time, as some people know in our circles. And yeah, so this man to my right is one of my favorite songwriters in Massachusetts for sure. He's got a brand new project right now, Blue Green Casino. And he's back for his third episode. He's an Elite Company.
The Triple Crown.
Triple Crown. Or the junior year episode is if we're going to be on brand. But Triple Crown's cool.
I like that.
So Taha and you.
Yep.
And of course, this is none other than...
select few.
Yeah. This is none other than Maeko.
Thank you. Thank you for the intro, dude. And I appreciate you having me on. The first one was during COVID. So that's wild to know how... And that was the first time I met you, right? Like, actually sort of...
Yeah, we met online, right?
Yeah, because we had messaged a few times, but it's wild. So that's 2020 or 2019? That was
2020. Yeah, I think it would have been the start of 2020.
Time's going, man.
Close to 6 years ago, if you can believe that.
Wild.
Isn't that wild?
But yeah, I've enjoyed every time coming on and appreciate you. So
yeah, and then the last time you were on was with DeFraze.
Yep.
Which was a fun one. We did that at DeFraze's home studio, and I think what we talked about off air, like over text, which was really cool, is that no pun intended, that you've come on for every single one of your albums.
Yeah.
So
which is an honor.
Now you're here for your third album, and man, so I definitely want to jump in. And so for this episode, normally, any of our listeners know we usually do the objective and then we do the main lesson and pop quiz and all that. But for returning guests, we kind of nix that and we just kind of talk, you know what I mean? And kind of see where the conversation goes. Cause,
so it's a free period?
Yeah. I like it. This is a free period. I like it. Maybe we'll call these free periods. I might actually start branding that. I do actually like that.
Yeah.
I should coin that. No, that was great. But again, if you want to get to know a little bit more about Maeko and his background, you should totally check out the first episode we have. I'll link that one in the description. And then, of course, we talk about all the themes with Cool. That was more of centered around the project. So we've already kind of gotten to know you a little bit as a person through our platform. So I guess my first question that I wanted to start with, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but was there a time over the last few years, especially since you've last been on the show, where you've almost quit music?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I feel like there was a point in time where you were, I remember us chatting that you were considering, maybe not quitting, but taking a long break. So
yeah, I would say I never, I might have, and then you managed me as well. So you've heard some of the more, when I've been in bad places with it. But I think if I ever did allude to that, I was just kind of throwing a little fit. I wasn't ever gonna
Good,
quit.
I'm glad to hear that.
But no, I think, to speak to that, I did have a period, and I don't know exactly when to pinpoint it, but I guess in the past year or so where I just felt a little exhausted.
More of a burnout thing than it was I
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely can, I can relate to that. Yeah, of course.
But no. And I'm so happy that I pushed through that, because for me anyway, there's always another side, going to the other side of it and finding something new. And that's kind of what's happened lately. I feel super energized lately in a way I haven't in a while. Writing songs, this album's out now, but I have a bunch of new stuff even that.
Heck yeah.
And it's funny because if you talked to me back then, it was more like, dude, I'm so tired, you know. Yeah.
Well, the fatigue thing is real, right? I mean, like anything, I feel like it's such a double-edged sword with being a creative, and I can kind of attest to a lot of what you're saying too, is because like there is a point of burnout, like inevitably, right? But you also want the creative thing to be the thing that like feeds your soul and allows you to like not feel the burnout. So that's like I feel like it's a hard thing to manage when like the creative thing is burning you out.
Oh yeah,
Like
you're like, what do I do? Yeah, and the other part about that I think is like there's a quote attributed to someone, I think some singer or I don't even know who, but just basically saying we have to live like to be able to write. I think this person was alluding to like always being on tour. They were like a famous artist and saying like, what do I write about? Like if I'm always just touring. And maybe it's some of that too. Like when I start to feel burnt out, I just got to go live a little bit, you know?
Find that inspiration. No, that makes a ton of sense because it's like if you're not actively living life, which is like the inspiration for most art, right?
Totally.
Then there's nothing to really, like you said, there's nothing to pull from. There's nothing to talk about. And I think breaks are healthy, right? I think we should stop. And that's why I kind of always, one of the reasons why I brought it up was because, and again, I don't know why this particular conversation we had, which was probably a year and a half ago now, I'd say at least maybe 2 years ago. And I wasn't managing at that point. I think we had since parted ways on that front.
Yep.
But I remember, I think you had maybe put out Trojan Horses, and I think it was after that song, I want to say,
That's
is when you were kind of like, I don't know, I might take a break, or I don't know what I'm doing with this right now, and you felt like, and I only wanted to ask that for not to call you out, but I think because it's important for I think anybody that does something creative to hear like the struggles that like, or like for us to like normalize the struggles a bit more. I think
Totally.
I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I hope people can be honest about that because it's nothing to be ashamed about, and like you can't be too concerned with your like artist hero, you know, narrative. Like, and that's part of it too. Like sometimes you want to come out and you want to be bigger than life to show people like, yeah, you can do that side is real too. But there's another side of that coin sometimes, which is like we get burned out.
Yeah,
we're not superheroes, you know.
Right, of course.
But yeah, you know what it probably was then too? Was just me not being... When I get to that place, I need to get back to my gratitude. Because my mind can start to believe like, I need to get something out of this. When I put out 4 singles and 4 videos that I think are great, I need to get something that in my mind, I think I should get. Like, and that's just you know, it's like, whatever the universe wants for me is something I have to trust is the right thing. And what my mind thinks I want or need it doesn't always align with that. So that's the burnout sometimes, I think.
And I think the ego that plays that part of that too. I think you just kind of alluded to that as well, that, you know, those are the things that make us or anybody that does anything creative, or, you know, it's what fuels the fire. Yeah. But then it can also be your own worst enemy, which is like one of those things that I find fascinating when I talk to artists about it. And that's one of the things I've always respected about you as a musician is your honesty on your songs. Yeah, thank you. And your ability to be vulnerable within your songwriting. I think it's what's, you know, coined you to be a songwriter of the year in the state, right? And for you to continue to, not maybe you haven't won recently, but in the last few years, but you've continued to be not only nominated, but not that that's all that matters, but like, I think like regardless of that accolade, I think when you listen to your music, there's really nothing that I can say objectively. I don't think anybody, even if they don't like your music, like I don't think they can sit there and argue that you're not a good songwriter because of the ways in which you're able to be relatable to your audience, but then also be vulnerable and like be sort of somebody that allows us to like see into like the deeper parts of your psyche. You know, and in our conversations off air and on air, I've always found them to be, you know, more profound than most. So like,
and if they say I'm not a good songwriter, they're hating. No.
That's how I feel. No, it's the truth. That's how I feel. Like, you don't have to like the music, but I think that is a little bit undisputed at this point where,
thanks, dude.
You know, that you've a long enough track record at this point. I think that warrants it.
It's funny you mention that because I was thinking about that, and this was just thinking about me and my own self-esteem and my own confidence in myself, it's sort of something that had to, the way it built up, some people do it by like looking in the mirror and they fake it till they make it. I'm not really great at that, but I get it through the slow drip natural route of, now I'm like, oh, I've been making songs for 8 years. When I was making songs for a year, maybe a few of them were good, but I didn't feel like, now I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm a weathered songwriter, and or maybe weathered's not the word, but you know what I mean?
Seasoned, maybe.
Seasoned. There we go. You got it. So yeah, I think that adds to the confidence and adds to like being like, oh, I actually feel like I'm this when I say it now. I feel when I say I'm a songwriter, it's not like there's no doubt. You know, there's no doubt when I say it. So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, so one of my questions to you that I was curious about, and not that I had a ton planned, but this is one thing I definitely wanted to ask you as like more of a generic question.
Yep.
So like, what song or maybe what album, or which album, if you can go either direction here, has been for you the most difficult to write? Like which one, if like there was a point in time where something that came really, like it was really a slog for you to get what you wanted. Maybe you had an intention, like we were talking about off air with Chase just now, right? Shout out Chase from Mindflex, who's actually in the other room, maybe
Shout out
producing.
Chase.
You might hear a little guitar here and there, a little acoustic in the background. But so between that and also those moments where the song feels like it writes itself. So
Totally.
do you have two moments like that, or like on opposite ends of it, and then the follow-up to that is like what goes into that emotionally, like and mentally? I'm kind of curious from your perspective about like what that looks like, because again, I know the songwriting is important an important aspect to you.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. I never really get the chance to talk about this. For the songs that feel like slogs, it's usually to pinpoint. Let me think of a specific song on the last album that felt like a slog. I think Don't Let It End sort of felt like a slog. And you know what's funny is like it's I know you're asking from the songwriting perspective, but for me it's usually from a mix perspective, and like working with the phrase or the producer on maybe not having the right language and trying to get that across to them. So it's usually that. When it comes to writing, it usually comes together pretty quickly. But what I've found is I used to write way more from my head, meaning like I would try to think of a concept and then write about it. And now I try to write and let a concept come out. So kind of vice versa. And most recently, what's been weird for me is when I'm writing, I often like it'll be a couple hours of Dan and I writing a new song, and I don't remember a lot of that time. Like it's like I don't know if I slip into like something else, which sounds a little weird, but I do feel like there's a certain like stream of consciousness or level of consciousness I go into where it's different. So lately I don't even really remember what I write. It's sort of like I just remember the session, like
Interesting.
Vaguely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And I find, a lot of that to be that process to be fascinating, right? Because it's like, I know every album's got to be, there's probably things you brought in from the last project that worked, right? But, what was it about this project? Because this one, to me, maybe this is just from being more outside looking in this time, which is interesting perspective to be with you in some ways.
Yeah.
That this one felt a bit longer of a sort of creative direction. It took a lot longer to get it to the finish line.
It did.
It's kind of what maybe my perception's off, but that's kind of my perception of this project.
No, that's right.
So, and I know, and it's funny because I know you had a couple singles last year, like Trojan Horses, like Don't Let It End, Dopamine, Mr. Logical, right?
Yep.
So I'm kind of curious, this is more of a chicken or the egg sort of scenario here. Like, was there always an intention to use those songs on a larger project and with the sort of thematic element of like the casino that you sort of kind of refer back to so much, or gambling, or this idea of addiction, or these other sort of themes that you're touching on and you're kind of bringing into the fold? Did those songs naturally like sort of fit in there, or was it always an intention that like that was the direction you were going? You're just like unsure of how it was all going to kind of play out.
Totally. Yeah, I think it was more when I just mentioned like I used to sit down with a concept and try to write about it versus writing and the concept emerging. This was the latter.
Interesting.
So I kept like hearing lines where I'd say like "Don't let it end," for example, like had the time of my life, make you want to do it twice. What else? Any of the Mr. Logical, just the fact that I'm sitting down, black and white, like all sorts of things started to emerge where I was like, I'm like talking about making bets and gambling, and then I went to, this was maybe almost a couple of years ago now when I started the song Casino. I went to New York. There's this producer, Jack Riley, who I had never met, but we were communicating on Instagram, and I had a work trip in New York, and first song we ever met, first song we ever made was Casino. And it's just like, life is a casino. And then from that moment, I was like, okay, the project is centered around a casino. I just don't know exactly what. Yeah. So it came a sort of late, because all those singles were done. That song was started, and then I was like, all right, let's do that.
And then sort of the rest of it sort of started to kind of fall into its place and crystallize.
Yeah.
So this concept of gambling and this risk, and it's so funny because I feel, and I'm so glad it happened that way for you, because a song like Mr. Logical, if I'm stripping it down to its roots, it sounds like you are speaking directly to Mr. Logical, this person who does not take risks. It's almost this opposite of like, you don't take enough risk. Yeah. And instead of, in some ways, because you're not, I want to be clear on this, anyone that's maybe just being introduced to you for the first time through this episode, you're not glorifying gambling on this album, not even to the nearest degree.
Not even
slightly. But in some ways, on the song like Mr. Logical, though, there is that sort of other side of the coin where it's like, well, you got to take some risk.
Yes.
Maybe it's got to be calculated, it's going to be in a way that's not, it's going to be a healthy risk. And I feel like it's almost you either speaking to, again, a side of you that doesn't like, that maybe has that black and white thinking that I know you've touched on many times, or it's directly could be directed at somebody that maybe has that sort of thinking. So I thought that like was another good example of the song naturally fitting into the theme coming later on.
Totally. And, I think also with the concept, I've been really interested in the past year or so plus in the idea of Trojan horsing, maybe deeper or darker or more difficult topic into a fun, seemingly surface level song or hook or whatever it is. Like I keep mentioning Don't Let It End, but I think Don't Let It End's an example. Like if you listen to that on the surface, at least the chorus, you're like, oh, this is about not forgetting a carefree night. But what I'm talking about is literally like the fact that I, growing up, just having a somewhat addictive personality myself, didn't want things to end. Like I could never just finish a night or a trip or whatever it may be and be like, that was enough. Like it was always like, I need more. So it's kind of the darker side of that. And then I think that's the duality of the album is like, I want people to take away from it what they need to, first of all, but I think there's kind of two things, if I'm boiling it down, you could take away from the album. One is like, go make bets, like live your life. The bets you make are the life you eventually lead. And then the other side is like, make your bets, but realize you're playing a game here, and like there's stakes and there's all of that.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And a lot of the songs I felt like, in particular, had more of like there was a lot more upbeat styles on this, like a lot more cools, but with like higher BPMs. I feel like you know what I mean. Especially a song like "Don't Let It In." I remember texting you after that song dropped, and I'm like, Maeko gets into EDM, like how does that happen? You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like not maybe EDM, but electronic style.
I don't even know how it happens.
You know, and I just like the ability that of feeling as though there's a world where you can experiment a bit more, right? Which
totally,
you know, so that was really really cool to hear.
You. Yeah.
So for anybody that maybe either has listened, all right, let me ask it two ways.
Yep.
For anybody that has listened to the album, you know, what do you hope that they take away from it? And maybe this answer might be the same. Or then anybody that hasn't heard it yet, what should they take away from it? Or maybe vice versa.
Yeah. So start with if you haven't heard it. Yeah. I think if you haven't heard it, I hope that you leave inspired. Because although there's the duality, I think, where I'm touching on like inspirational and maybe like looking at addiction and all these different things. I think just this particular time right now in the world, I hope you leave with inspiration no matter what. If you have listened to it, same thing, but if you have listened to it, I think I'd love to hear which one you did take. You know, did you feel like it was more like insightful and made you be more introspective and think about your habits and your choices and what you might be addicted to, like, or did it make you feel more like, I want to go gamble and take chances and like dream? I'm just like curious about that. Yeah,
Interesting. I want to break down a couple. There's a couple songs I wanted to talk to you about.
Let's do it.
One specifically, Dog Track.
Dog Track. Yeah.
So I know there's an interesting story.
Deep cut.
Yeah, deep cut. Interesting story that comes into that because your mom used to work at a dog track.
Yes, her second job.
That's interesting.
So she worked at a bank full time, and then she's a saint, man. She worked a second job just for like our sports college, just
those
the
types
piggy
of
bank.
funds. Yeah.
And it was at the Rainham Taunton Dog Track, which if you're from the South Shore, you probably have at least driven by it. But it was a really poppin' place back in the 90s, I think 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And they raced, there was live greyhound racing in the back of the building. And you looked out at the greyhounds racing. And then inside there was Keno and there was lottery. And it was like a casino of sorts, but not a casino, more a track. And that's where that song takes place, or the concept from it. Yeah.
I like the fact that you almost like wrote it in the perspective of trying to write it to the perspective of the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. The first verse is me recounting. I used to go there. It's not recounting a super specific day, but I used to go there a lot, like to pick up her check with her, just random times. And I remember thinking it was weird that the dogs were racing and everyone was watching them race.
A little bit.
Which is like a deep thought as as a kid, but I would think about that, and then I would think like, why are they racing? Like, why don't they just not race? Like, do they like it? Are they whatever? And then I started, now, not back then, kind of linking that as an analogy to like we can just run in circles as people. We can get caught in just unconscious loops. So that's what that's about. And then the second verse is all about the things we chase.
A lot of those things sometimes are not, always the best.
Greatest, yeah.
Not the greatest. Yeah.
Been there.
For sure.
Still there sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, I hear that. So I'm also curious about the Norm Macdonald interlude.
Yeah.
So obviously, for those that don't know, like big comedian back in the day and absolute legend.
Yep.
How did that sort of fit into this? And is it more so just because there was something about him that you felt connected well to this, or is there something further about just like maybe trying to layer in another art form like comedy into the piece?
Yeah. Not super intentional in that way, but I think I was just getting into my casino mode. So like watching casino related things, reading, going on YouTube. And that was just one of the bits of media, I guess, that I came across. And two things. I love the message, but I loved how he delivered it in his voice. Like, it's just a awesome sort of radio almost voice, just like classy, silky. And then what he was saying, like, and I think it when the red dice are in the air, the gambler has hope, and hope is a wonderful thing to be addicted to. And it kind of captures, like, it's like before you throw it, you don't have, the bet hasn't landed and you haven't won anything, and after you throw it, you might lose and not make any money. But in that moment, it's like that's why we do the things we do, like for that chance, Yeah,
100%. What song from this project specifically do you feel the most connected to?
Yeah, I feel most connected right now, I'd say to Dopamine, probably. Because I think it represents a little more of where I currently am. Like, it's about me and Cree, and it feels really centered and grounded. Some of the other parts of the project are more chaotic, more energy, whatever it may be. But that one feels like it's really like beyond Maeko, even just like Matt, it feels like it comprises all of that. So, yeah.
And it does have a bit more, I think, of a different feel or tonality to it than most of the project. Like that is the one song I feel like that
kind of an outlier almost.
A little bit. I mean, it still fits, but like a bit of an outlier. Let's talk about Cree.
Yeah.
How she's very creative in her own right. So, what is that like to be in a relationship or be engaged? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Be engaged to somebody and have a life partner that
it's so creative,
shares that creative drive in that way, but also in a kind of in a different lane, right? Because she's a little bit more like, how often is she helping your creative direction? Is it more, she's just in a supportive role when she feels like, when you ask her and you know what I mean? Like, I'm curious of like what that dynamic looks like and how she's maybe impacted some of this music, if at all.
She's everything, man. Super. To answer your question directly, has helped me in so many ways. Let's just take music, because obviously as a partner, friend, hugely it has changed my life. But with writing music, only just recently have I realized we've been like writing songs together a little bit, and in the funnest way. Like, I'll have a couple beats or whatever. D-Phrase and I, started something. I have the beat I'm playing in the car with her when we're going somewhere, and we literally came up with a hook just being goofy, which I can play you after. But I was like humming something, and I forget exactly what happened, but she said like "run, baby," and then like I started saying that, and then I was like "run, baby, run," and then this song like it's actually sounds awesome, but it literally started from us just being goofy in the car.
Wow.
So that's like a new layer that like 3 years into knowing her that I just had no idea. So it's amazing. I think it's super fun, and I hope I can do just a fraction of what she's been able to help me with, because she's more of a multifaceted creative.
Right.
So she does photography, graphic design. I kind of just sit down and write songs. Like I can be creative otherwise, but she helps me a lot because she does so many things.
Right. Yeah. Right. And what I love about that, right, is the fact that there's like a coexistence there that like allows for both spaces, like creative spaces, to live and breathe in their own right, but they're also counterparted in that sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's a lot more geared to like visual creativity and art, and like you have more different of the sonic. Mediums. Yeah, the mediums, exactly. Yeah. I feel like it's funny, people talk about, the different ways in which we sort of perceive ourselves in different phases of our lives. And like, the part about being in love, right? Like just that concept alone.
Yep.
Like, I don't know how you feel about it, but me personally, and like being like having like that stability in my life is just so it like, I feel like some people sort of get a little complacent with that like element of their life. But for me personally, like, I think there's complacency potentially in any facet or situation, but for me, it's almost like having that other person is like more motivating, I think. Like
Yeah.
I find it to be like you're almost, for me, I've found it personally, and I'm sure like a lot of people can relate to this, but just like I'm now doing this for something a little bit more than
yourself.
myself,
Yeah.
and sometimes that feels more powerful in ways than I don't think I ever really anticipated. Like it's
100%.
really it's really like a
And it's a
really,
gift.
it's beautiful. It's a cool thing. I mean, Carissa, from her perspective, I wouldn't naturally say she's like, I don't think she considers herself a creative, but she
But
is
maybe more than she thinks.
no, 100%.
Yeah.
Like she's creative in many other ways. And so like, I think from like, you know, not like even trying to do it full time. I think we all have that, you know, creativity
all
there,
do.
something there, you know what I mean?
I
But
feel like we're creative beings. Like some of us just maybe haven't found it, or maybe don't want to explore it as much. But yeah, I agree though that it does not make me more complacent to be with Cree. It inspires me. Like when she comes to the studio with me, I write better. I'm not distracted. I'm not like, you know, oh, my girl's here. Like never anything like that. So
yeah,
that's cool. That's a cool thing.
yeah, no, it is really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I think like, again, having that relationship, having that companion too, it's like, and then it's like something else that like, you know, it's that person you can share all these things with too, which is like the best.
Yeah,
That's like the best
that
feeling.
too. Just like
That's the
on
best
this
feeling.
on this wild ride, you know.
Yeah,
It's good
sincerely.
to share it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What's been, you know, for you, like over the last year and a half, 2 years, like creating this music, and also, like you said, getting out and living more, like, you know, what have you learned about Maeko as an artist, Maeko as a person, like the journey you've been on the last few years, like,
Yeah.
especially like, you know, we've talked obviously getting, you know, a lot more serious with Cree and just like having that relationship and, you know, all of these things like are all very positive, but like what sort of stage in like the career of Maeko are we in right now, and like where are we kind of going next?
Yeah. I think I'm in the stage of doing the work and shutting up. Meaning like not in a negative way. Just doing the work and trusting that once I put it out and I give my best effort, I don't have to do anything else. I could choose to do as much or as little as I want, but I don't need to expect. I don't need to push any square peg into in round holes. I think I'm in a much more. I have faith that my output means something. That it will reach exactly how many ears it needs to, not a set of ears more or a set of ears less. And I've been trusting that. And that feels good because it was a source of big stress that, you know, even with an album like Cool versus This, I was obsessing over making it reach the world. And I still want that, but I also just, if that's not what's meant, then I want that because I want what's meant, you know?
You've sort of stripped. Well, you. I feel like you talk about that a lot in some of like your more candid, like you sort of talking into the camera content that you've put out over the last few years of like stripping away expectation.
Expectations, man. They're resentments waiting to happen. That's what I've heard.
I like that.
Resentments waiting to hatch.
Where'd you hear that?
I heard that through a wise friend.
Interesting.
Yeah, my friend Matt.
Expectations are.
Yep.
Resentments waiting to hatch.
Expectations are resentments waiting to hatch.
I like that.
And that's like maybe more related to people, like expecting of people, but I think it can apply just to like expecting songs to blow up, or, you know, because you expect it. Okay, Casino is going to get 1 million views and end up on an editorial. This isn't my actual thought process for this. This is an example. It doesn't. It gets to 1,000 plays in a month. Oh, fuck Spotify. You know, like, that's, again, this is an example. Don't chop this up. No, I'm kidding. That's the resentment. It's like, because I expected it should hit 1 million plays. I don't need that shit. I don't need that.
Well, it's funny because in hindsight, now that I'm thinking about it, right, and like, I think back to some of the like later conversations we were having when I was, helping manage you with Artie. Big shout out to Artie. Haven't seen Artie in a while.
Shout out to Artie.
Artie, I hope you're doing great.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like a lot of our conversations surrounded these types of things.
Yeah.
And
I was working through it at that point, sort of like.
But it was funny because in the moment it felt like the right thing to think about and be worried about.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You know what I mean? And
No,
now
it did. Yeah.
And it's funny enough, I've now felt similarly as you do now in that I'm less worried about the outcomes. Like, again, for example, like I find myself even still in that moment being constantly conscious about that, still having that, like for a photo, for example, that I think is really, really dope. And I'm like, and I put it out and it gets 15 likes and I'm like,
don't get me wrong.
What the fuck? Like,
it sucks sometimes.
Yeah. Like that feeling can be shitty, but then, I heard this interesting perspective that kind of changed it a bit for me lately. And now I'm less, I feel like I'm even more less, like sort of committed to the outcome or maybe not committed is the right word, but, attached to the outcome or the expectation of what the outcome's supposed to be is, people are getting upset. I see all those like videos where it's like, oh, are you stuck in 200 view TikTok jail?
Oh man,
and
I'm
all
exhausted.
that shit.
I'm just exhausted. By that.
All that's exhausting, anyways. It is. But I heard somebody talk about this, and forgive me, whoever it was, and it really shifted my perspective.
Yep.
And he was like, think about in real time if you were standing in an auditorium and there were 200 people in that auditorium and you presented something and 200 people got to see that thing. And out of that, let's say 80 people liked it. Like you got some clap going nuts for it, right? Like in real life, that would be, you'd go home and be like, that's a great day.
Yeah.
But online, because we've sort of assigned and I'm not trying to be like philosophical here necessarily. It's just like I think this is just the reality of it.
We can get philosophical.
Well, I don't mean to sound preachy, but like my point is that like we've assigned, maybe this is obvious, but we've assigned a larger expectation online that my thing, my photo, my video, my song, my video, whatever it is, my short film should get 100,000 views. 500,000 views, 1 million views, or 1 million streams, or whatever. And we don't think about like, oh, if 15 people walked by me today,
dude, love your album.
I think about it, right? If like if I was holding my picture, walking around downtown Boston, and within an hour, 15 people said, "Yo, that picture's fire. Keep going, keep taking." Like, I feel pretty damn good. Oh my god, dude. So it's so funny how
it's hilarious.
And then when I thought about it, when it broke it down like that, I'm like, wow,
it's sick. It's kind of sick shit. Like, to
200 people is a lot of people when you think about it, right?
Dude, when I realized it was sick is like not sick in the good way.
No, like sickening in some ways. Yeah.
When I had one of my songs go pretty viral on TikTok and get 250,000 views, and it was like all there was like a couple hate comments and just people loving the song. And I had at first, speaking of casinos, dopamine, felt amazing. Like a couple weeks later, it slowed down and leveled out. And I was like, damn, like I thought that was going to like get up to 500, 1 million. Like I thought it was going to keep going. Fuck.
Meanwhile, you...
the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that, right, you're saying like, maybe this leads into a whole other conversation, but
no worries.
What do you think about this? What we are on, right? Like this hamster wheel of social media that we're on right now as creatives, and sort of being, I've felt this a lot lately, and I've had conversations like this where it's almost like we're feeling trapped to some degree by this medium that we know can be valuable, but there are so many drawbacks to it.
Yeah.
It's like,
and that's important to hold both. It's not one thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, no, like I agree with what you said, meaning like we know there are advantages to social media.
Right.
It spreads news around the world. It connects people. I think I've met real friends through social media, and then it's the other side you mentioned, and I think that I have an app on my phone called Opal. Is it Opal? The stone, the stone.
Opal, yeah.
I think it's Opal, and it blocks social media entirely, or any app that I ask it to. It's like a social media blocking app, and I even thought about just getting a
Sorry, we've written. It just reminds me of that social network.
Yeah.
No, it's actually Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
Documentary where the guys are talking about writing themselves code to break their addictions to these apps. It's like that we've created an app to get off the other apps. It's like
Literally. Yeah.
how far is this gonna go?
I think it's speaking of addiction. So I'm sober, coming on 6 years, and you learn a lot about addiction. There's something called end stage addiction, and that's just what you can imagine when you're, whether it's drugs or alcohol or whatever it is, when you're just toward the end, everything's deteriorating, you're not in the right mind state. I think we're at end stage social media addiction. Not everyone, but just as a, as a culture, as a people. And I have no idea what to do about it besides just try to get off of it a little bit more. Like, I don't really feel like I'm going to quit it entirely, but I feel like I need to totally and completely reevaluate my relationship to media.
And I don't know if, I think we were meant to. I don't think we're emotionally equipped to deal with one, like you're saying, like all this information, but like, what good has it done the world for us to have? I mean, not to say that we shouldn't be informed. I'm not going to sit here and I don't want anyone to mince my words.
Yeah.
But I don't feel as though we're better for it in this society. Like, if anything, I mean, this is the most obvious statement in 2025 as it can be, but it has ruined families' lives. It has ruined some of our own lives. It has ruined, our relationships with other people. Yes, it has helped to strengthen some relationships or have relationships be formed. And again, I think this is the duality to everything in life, but there's just this cloud, I feel like, that's over our society right now. And I feel like social media is such at the precipice and sort of the climax, so to speak, of this division, this hatred, this sort of this sort of group think and cult mentality on so many things. And I use cult as like a very free word, but like I don't mean like legit cults. I'm just saying like a cult like mentality that
mob.
Right, mob mentality is probably the best way to put it, right? From like the old sort of like psychological and sociology sort of teachings. But I agree. Like, I don't know what the answer is either, and I just sometimes sit back and I think about what life might be like right now without it.
Yeah. Right. If it just never happened.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine.
It's hard to imagine, right? Yeah. It's hard to imagine like doing anything without your phone or social, you know what I mean? So it's just I feel as though I'm more conflicted on it than I think I ever have been. Like, I think back to the conversations we had when I was working on your team, and like it was a lot of these things were geared towards, okay, what is the content looking like? Like, how can we get more followers, get more views, get this, more that?
I was really trying to strategize, which is good. I think.
And I don't mean it in a bad way, because it's in I think about that, right, too, and it's still some sort of a thought, but it's like, when I think about it now, I'm more looking at it from a perspective of like, man, like I just want to build a community or not even build one personally, but just be a part of one that I feel like I have a place in, and that, supports me, creatively, emotionally, financially, like whatever all that is, like everything we all kind of want it to be, that I don't think it is. And again, I don't know what the fix is, and I don't know if there is one, and I don't know if we've gone just way too far down this road to come back from it. But I don't know. It just it feels almost dystopian to think that we're
Yeah.
building apps to get ourselves off apps.
It's totally. And honestly, I have a little shame that I even need to, download it. But I'm like, shit.
Well, I probably should though.
Yeah.
But when you say that, and I'm like, well, shit.
It's helped.
I'm not doing that. And,
It has helped.
and I should.
Yeah, and I thought of just getting a burner, because shout out T-Mobile, they gave me and Cree a third line that we're just not using. So I'm like,
Oh,
should I just get a burner iPhone and only have text and phone on it, like, and take that out for the day. And then it's like,
it's kind of what. Funny enough, a lot of these things that I kind of realized this recently of why I've been enjoying photography so much lately.
Yeah.
Is the fact that I have this tool, right? This camera,
Yep.
right? And it's to that same sort of narrative of like, if something's using you and wants something from you, it's not a tool. If a tool is just sitting there, waiting to be used,
Yeah.
That's what a tool really is.
Yeah.
So like, yes, these phones are tools, but they're also in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
a lot of the addictive stuff that you've talked about on so many of your projects and,
Yep.
your own life. And I feel like I can almost be more in the moment when I can put my phone, like if I'm taking pictures on my phone, there's naturally sort of these other things that I could be doing also. Like, I can actually go from my camera app to this versus if I have just the camera, I feel like I'm almost more present.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
100%.
such a weird thing.
Yeah, the camera doesn't want to sell you anything.
No, the camera, well, maybe
The camera company does, but
camera
not
company
the camera itself. Like,
I think about, yeah, like again, like when I was in Aruba with Carissa, and we were able to, didn't need to talk to anybody. There was no one else to talk to, and just left my phone in the room and was able to walk around and be present. And
it's amazing.
And it's like, and then I come back and I get stuck into all those like old habits again, and it's just, it gets frustrating.
Yeah.
I think to a degree that I don't know if I've come to grips with myself in some ways.
Yeah.
Dude,
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Because I think I would guess the majority of people around our age would say something similar, if they're thinking about it at all.
Right.
And going to Costa Rica has helped me a lot, because I feel like there it's a lot easier to slip, especially like the beach towns. You just mentioned Aruba, to slip into that, like, hey, I'm gonna leave my phone and go to the beach. So I think about it's like environment, it's mindset, it's your own habits. But what really put into perspective for me recently, and it might sound obvious, like hearing this example, but some creator, I wish I remember their name, I would shout them out, but they posted something recently about the difference between, like, you used to wake up, and some people do, but a lot of people might wake up and use their phone within the first minute or first half hour, and you used to wake up and, like, here's an example of maybe how it used to be. You wake up, you make a cup of coffee, you walk outside on your back deck, and you sit there for a half hour, and you might have a lot of thoughts, you might have a clouded mind, like whatever it is, but it's just like you're there, and there's only so much, even with if your thoughts are chaotic on that morning, that sort of you can spike up and down and have hits to dopamine, hits to whatever it is, adrenaline. Now you open your phone, the first thing you see is a cute golden retriever. Your dopamine goes up. The next thing you see is a flood in fucking wherever. Oh shit! Like, in the amount of times you are swung like a rag doll, just in that 10-minute scrolling set, 5-minute scrolling set, is unbelievable if you really think, if you put some consciousness around that instead of just being like, that's how it is. To me, it's like, I don't want that to be how it is for me.
The complacency piece of it that I talked about a little bit earlier, I think that's like kind of been the killer in a lot of ways of our own society and where we're at, and like I think that like we've just become numb to a lot of these things. Mm-hmm. It's the same reasons why I get frustrated, with sort of this selective outrage or, this selective morality or whatever it is, when it becomes this sort of idea that, we can just we can be numb to some things and then overreact to others.
Yeah.
It's, and there's a
Feels
lot
a
of
little engineered.
a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit. And yeah, maybe that's by design.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm starting to get sort of tired of a lot of it, and it sucks. It feels like this almost necessary evil to be on it based on you gotta, and I'm trying to find new ways to like, push my own brand forward that is not as reliant on
Yep.
social media and my phone.
And you've been
shit
doing
like
it great. I feel like
I'm trying, but
I feel like you're busy living life, and this is not like to shame social media or being on it. I'm really just like speaking to myself. I don't know what everyone else should do. Like, I don't know. You do what you want to do.
I agree.
I'm just saying for me, man. And like the other thing is, sometimes it is fun and stupid, and you laugh on social media.
For sure.
So none of this is like a strong statement by me, but just something I've noticed. Like, it's fun. I'm glad you brought it up because it's actually something I've been thinking about a lot. Just like,
Me too.
for myself, I want to kind of conquer it in my own way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, like I think you put it well, is like having the relationship with it that it's meant to have, and like a relationship with it that's healthy and that feels not so one-sided in some ways.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is it? Absol said, like, use the drugs, don't let the drugs use you. I think that's what he said. But
It sounds like an Absol line.
use the apps, don't let the apps use you. Like,
Right.
I think that's the goal.
Yeah. For sincerely, man. So, Blue Green Casino.
Yep.
Blue Green Casino. I've been listening to it a lot.
No doubt.
I really, really like it. You guys should too. If you're, just being introduced to Maeko for the first time, you should definitely go listen to this album. It's linked in the description.
You got a favorite?
Funny, I'm glad you asked that. Funny enough, and I always liked it independently.
Yep.
I think Mr. Logical just, again,
Nice.
listening
the oldest one too.
Listening to it in the context of the project gives it this freshness to me that I don't think I had.
I love that.
As much of when I initially heard it, which is so ironic because
That's cool.
I did love that song initially when it came out. It was one of my favorites you've ever put out.
Thank you.
And even this just because it's older than some of the rest, I think that one. Another one I liked a lot was Flare Gun though.
Thank you.
I felt Flare Gun.
Yep. Fun one. That's a fun one.
That's a fun one for sure. I really enjoyed that. Those two, Casino as well, was another one that I really, really enjoyed. Dopamine's gorgeous. So again, there's a lot of them, but I think for me, it's the concept behind Mr. Logical is one that I just enjoy so much and can get behind. But it's the production, it's the build to the hook.
Yeah.
It's the way in which you are captivating me as a listener on the hook.
Yeah.
Both lyrically, performance wise, and just sort of mix everything kind of comes together for me on that.
The video is so fun too.
Oh, it's I love it.
That was my favorite video experience, and
because you're playing this character, this character
we're just in the
that
middle of Brooklyn, like we didn't rent that space, like we just had to like hope that it was okay. It was on like a busy corner near an intersection, like dude. I'm glad you like Mr. Logical. It's a
really
fun
enjoy
one.
it.
And Flare Gun was just to add a little bit to that. That first verse is about literally the first time I was on the stage. And
I know.
Did I tell you this story?
No. So I'm sorry. You didn't tell me the story, but I from the lyrics, yeah.
Yeah. So my sisters danced growing up, and I'd have to go to the practices sometimes or rehearsals, whatever it was. And I remember when NSYNC would come on, Bye Bye Bye, I would just start going nuts. No idea why, but I guess it's a banger.
A little bit, I'd say so.
Quite a banger. And the woman who owned the studio was just like, you should open up the show. Like, bizarre, but amazing. And I was like, yeah, sure. But then I remember wearing those shades. Like, I wore a Hawaiian shirt, shades, kind of to look the part. But also I remember feeling safe in those. Like, it was a layer between me and the audience. Even at a super young age like that, I think I was 5. I was like, all right, these shades are helping me. And then the second verse, I'm like, this time I had shades. The second time I performed, I had shades, but shades of brown in the flask. So, like, the shades then were
Wow.
the whiskey I was
don't think I
drinking.
even caught that. I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just like what we do to feel, okay with being seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
And to make that connection, this the self-awareness alone was incredible. Maybe because I just watched it last night as we're recording this podcast, but that sort of reminded me a lot of, this is going to sound like a weird comparison, but I watched the Charlie Sheen documentary last night.
Oh, how was that?
Really good.
Yeah. He's doing all right.
Yeah. He's like 7 years sober, I guess.
Nice.
Which is wild. And it was really interesting to hear him talk. So it almost felt like in some ways he was talking about like another person. Like,
Yeah.
and like he was talking about this person that he knew so well, but like almost detached a little bit from.
Yeah.
And I think it allowed for him to be like really just
Honest.
just so honest about like pretty much everything that he had put himself and others around him through. And I think a lot about what you're saying about that, the shades of sort of, like hiding from the crowd, but feeling as though you have to be in front of it in some
That's
way,
a
shape, or form.
crazy
Like,
feeling too.
yeah. So like, and I get that sense from someone like him, and I would imagine that he's not the only famous actor, musician, whatever it is that has gone through something similar like that. So for you to paint it in that way, that kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a wild feeling. It's like a weird curse to want to be heard and seen in some way, and then not at all. Like, I still struggle with that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't always want to like this. I'm so glad to do this conversation, and I'm not even famous, but just like you have opportunities, you have shows, whatever you do what you do locally, and I don't always want to do it.
No.
But it's like I want to because I want the message to get. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know. I've felt that way a bit lately as well, in the sense that like, I enjoy being off. Like again, like same deal.
Yeah.
Being on camera, having this conversation. I enjoy these conversations a lot.
Yep.
I think for me, it's gotten to the point where we're talking a little bit earlier about expectations, right? Where for me at this point, the expectation is just try to have a really great human conversation and enjoy my time with the person that I'm sitting next to.
Man, that's
and
good, yeah.
not worry about the numbers of turntable teachers, because I was in that same boat, right? And I think too, a lot of it is now pushing away a bit from, maybe 5-6 years ago when I started this, the biggest goal was to be an on-camera personality, and I'm finding myself enjoying being behind it better. And maybe that's
amazing.
That's the move for me long term. Yeah. Maybe this wasn't what I initially wanted. This was just part of the journey that got it there. Dude. And yeah.
That reminds me, I was just thinking of this as well, and I think I alluded to it on my story a few weeks ago. When I feel like I need to be getting something out of this, streams, a career that pays, again, all things that I'd love to happen, I remind myself, I met Cree because of music. I wouldn't have met her if I didn't make music. I essentially got sober because of music. I met my sponsor through music, and he's an artist. I thought of like 4 or 5 different things, really big things like that, like meeting my fiance, meeting my sponsor in sobriety, that wouldn't have happened without music. And then I started to think like, God is funny, because it's like you think you want one thing, and then it's like, how I imagine is just, God, higher power, whatever you consider it, is just like, dude, I'm giving you all this, like, and you care about getting 1 million streams on Spotify, like, dude, like, what? So that's kind of how I've been looking at it lately. Like, don't be so laser focused, searingly focused on what you want that you miss what you actually got from it, the gifts you actually received.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that perspective.
Yeah,
because I find that too. It's like through this podcast, I find myself either learning something about either me or people or the person across from me or whoever it is, like I learned something after every one of these conversations. Or I gained something anyway.
Yep.
And
you give something too.
Oh, 100%. It's a give and take thing, but it's oftentimes too I get something I didn't think I was going to get back, right? Or it's something that it wasn't on my radar that was what I was going to receive that day, or you know, you put something in a way that I didn't consider it before, right?
Yeah.
And that like allows for me to maybe process something that I hadn't fully processed.
Totally separate from
You got it. So I feel like in that way, that's sort of for me at this point the goal of this, and it's again
awesome.
to provide a space for people like yourself, artists in Massachusetts that maybe don't get the recognition that they feel like they deserve, whether it be from the state, nationally, whatever. Like to continue that.
And look at all the friends you've made.
Well, that's the biggest thing too, right? To be able to call you a friend, just to be like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like that's the coolest shit ever.
Definitely.
You know, like,
that's where it's weight in gold, man. Like, I know that. So, the song, let's just take Mr. Logical, produced by DeFraze, written by me. If that hit 10 million streams, it wouldn't be worth the session, the time that me and Dan have spent being stupid, making songs, taking walks to go get sushi Ritos, you know, like all the things we do. The
sushi Rito, I haven't. I tried to get one.
I like it. Let's divert to sushi Ritos.
No, it's funny you mentioned this because I'm a huge sushi person, and I've seen this phenomenon of the sushi Rito.
Dude, it's great.
And I tried getting one at a place, and they were out. I didn't get to actually have it. So I have yet to try the sushi Rito. Is it everything that it is hyped up to be?
Try it from it is, but I think it's dependent on obviously where you're getting
where you
it from.
go, of course,
and it has to be done right. And I know if you want a good one, Sushi Corner in Melrose.
Okay, that's got to be really close to me.
Yeah, I think it is. Amazing. And what DeFraze and I will do is we'll get a sushi Rito, and they cut it in half, and then we'll get a scallion pancake Rito. They might have
What is that?
It is, so a scallion pancake, fairly thick one, with chicken and some veggies wrapped up inside it. Okay. So same idea as a sushi Rito, except it's a scallion pancake. And we'll get both of those and each have half. And that's been like a little tradition.
Carissa, new date night.
Exactly. Double date.
Seriously, we should go do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I love sushi Ritos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's been your go-to? Not to completely derail the conversation.
What's been your go-to lately if you're gonna like?
I mean,
go out and get something.
We like All Seasons in Malden.
Yep.
The place is really, really good.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Just for any sort of like Asian fusion.
Oh yeah.
Really, really solid. Again, we're cooking a lot more lately than anything, but I would say another place or another cuisine that I like to get, somewhat frequently.
Yep.
Would be a burrito.
Nice.
I'm
Keep it classic.
Big Felipe's guy. In Cambridge.
Felipe's is great.
More locally near where I am, Andrea's Taqueria is pretty
I haven't tried
solid.
That. Nice.
Just a really solid burrito. It's actually right in Everett.
Do you like birria?
I love birria. Oh my goodness, yeah. Birria tacos are one of my favorite foods. Honestly, it's like probably sushi and birria tacos. I'd say like the two. Like at this point in my life,
we could, if we had to have the same food, stranded on a desert, we would survive.
Birria.
Actually, maybe not because we'd be battling.
We'd be battling
for the birria and the
birria
sushi.
And the sushi. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, honestly though, it's been more. Trying to make meals at home.
Dude, good for you.
And cook.
I have
more.
a couple recipes that I cook, but I would like to as well. Like, because with me, cooking is fun and a great experience when I'm not in a rush. If I can slow down and do it, I love it.
It's kind of why I like it, because it forces me to do that.
Yeah.
I have to drop everything else that's going on, and I only have to focus on that.
Yeah.
And it almost resets me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
you have to focus.
Yeah, you have to, or else you're gonna fuck up the dish. Like it's just not one of those things.
What's the Scarfo go-to homemade?
All right, so I got a couple things I like making.
Yeah.
One in particular, as of late, it's gonna sound really simple, but I feel like I do it pretty well. At least my wife says it's good.
That's all that matters.
I can make a mean smash burger.
No way, dude. So I'm guessing you have the mechanism, the device that the weight.
That and we in
What's
our
the
registry.
key? I can't get it to stay flat.
You gotta really smash it down. Like honestly, that tool helps a lot. Yeah. But the biggest thing is getting having a flat pan.
Oh, okay.
Like or having one of those. So like you can get I think they call it the Blackstone grill or whatever that is just naturally flat, easier to do it. We ended up getting a flat pan that goes like over a stovetop
nice. Okay.
from our registry. So for me, it makes it easier than doing
Shout
it
out
in
to
a regular.
Married.
Yeah. It makes it easier to make the smash burger actually quick. And then I make like a homemade Big Mac Thousand Island sauce type vibe. Yep. And then
Do you double it? 2 patties?
Well, 2 patties, and then you got to make a melt out of it. So you got to actually, I'll get like sourdough bread.
Ooh.
And I'll put those. I'll put slice of mild cheese, mild cheddar cheese, the 2 smashed patties.
Yep.
Pickles.
Yep.
Caramelized onions.
Ooh.
The sauce.
Yep.
Little lettuce, and stick between the two pieces, and you just melt that down. Get all the so that way your smashed patty edges are nice and crispy.
That's key.
It kind of gets all the juices into it. Yes, and then you got the really near burnt pieces of bread.
Yep.
And it just kind of like comes together, man.
Job.
So that's and it to be honest with you, it's
olive oil or
I do avocado oil.
Avocado oil. Okay.
Yeah, just a little spray of avocado oil.
Yep.
And it's more healthy than you would be getting it at a random gig. Not that whatever. It's just better served.
And from the comfort of your home.
Comfort of the home, exactly. Carissa makes great enchiladas.
Nice.
That's been a huge hit in our house.
Oh, that sounds great too.
She also makes a nice shepherd's pie.
Yep.
And honestly, I like using. I'm more of a bulk guy too, because like then it just kind of gets my meals out there and stuff like that.
Yep.
I have a good recipe for pulled chicken. In the crock pot.
Gotta send me that.
I got you. It's great. Yields a lot of food.
Yep.
We'll feed you probably for 3 days at least, which is always great.
Yeah.
And I also have I don't make my own pasta, but a homemade mac and cheese.
Oh, nice.
I make a mac and cheese
How many
sauce
cheeses?
out of it.
Couple cheeses.
So I'll give you, there's a little secret here. So this is like for people that want something that still tastes good, but not like is gonna like kill you, fattening and kill you on the calories.
Yeah.
And some people might hate this. The food community might, if they hear this,
they might come for you.
Might come for me.
Yeah.
One of the keys, believe it or not, is this is all blended. By the way, this all gets blended. So you cook the pasta. I just cook the pasta separately. And this is gonna be pretty. This again, I like doing things easy as well.
Yep.
So cook the pasta separately. Let that do its thing. Mm-hmm. Boil some cottage cheese. Blend some cottage cheese.
Okay.
Usually like fat-free cottage cheese.
Yep.
A little bit Greek yogurt.
Yep.
Like plain. And then I go 1 mac and cheese packet for like a little bit of flavor, but also more just color.
Yep.
And then I go light mozzarella.
Okay.
Light cheddar.
Mozzarella.
And a little bit of whipped cream cheese.
Whipped cream cheese. That feels like the secret ingredient there. Like, I wouldn't expect that.
And it makes it nice. And then some like fat-free milk.
Oh, dude. So
and I blend that together.
Yeah.
And I put it on a pan.
Yeah.
And I kind of thicken it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I add the cheese sort of sauce.
Sounds super good, actually.
And it's higher in protein, lower in fat. And then the macros are good, and it feels like you're eating legit mac and cheese. It's kind of a guilt-free mac and cheese in some ways. And
so
then if you really want,
you're not new to this. You're true to this.
No, I've been doing this.
Yeah.
And if you really want to get fun with it, you want to spice it up a little bit. Just a little bit of Frank's buffalo.
I think that's the route I would go.
Throw that in the.
I might even cook some chicken up, make some buffalo chicken mac and cheese.
That works too.
I don't know if that's
no,
allowed.
Bro. No, absolutely. Yep. Chicken thighs. That's been my go-to. I don't do the breasts anymore. Chicken thighs.
Yeah, I think chicken thighs are better too.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I'm going chicken thighs when I buy.
Yeah. I watch MasterChef. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I have in the past. Yeah.
It just amazes me.
Oh yeah.
Because like, without any distractions, and 30 minutes in the kitchen, I can make something edible.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I
right.
really concentrate.
Yeah.
What these world-class chefs do,
They're out of their mind.
out of their mind. It's
in the best way.
And that's a form of creativity for sure in its own
Definitely.
right, to be making these dishes and making them be art, like
Oh,
making them look artistic and
Look
stuff
good
like
and
that.
taste good. Yeah,
There's art no matter where you go.
100%.
And I
like that quote.
And again, what I just described is probably sounds in a lot of ways very basic, but again, like I'm all about just like at this point in my life, like eating good, feeling good, and like, but I'm restricting
Simple.
myself.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in the food
No.
community, right? And I feel like there's a lot. I granted there is a lot of people out there in online. Again, a good thing about social media, where people are out there, and there's a lot of people out there as well that are demonizing a lot of food and like making people feel guilty for eating something. Like why are you eating this? There's all these chemicals and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I know there's so many people out there that are like, hey, if you want to try to lose weight, but you still want to like eat the food you like here, I've got a lot of recipes that way.
More sensible.
Yeah.
Take.
Here's a sensible way to do it.
I like that.
You know?
Take the shame out, Also, sidebar. I was kind of, I know we're in a, what do we call it, a free block? Or a study period?
Maybe free period. Yeah.
I was sort of, this has been amazing, but I was sort of hoping for some of the Nardwar experience. Like, I've seen you've been doing that on the episodes. Like,
Have I not given you that?
no.
Oh,
I've never had
all right.
I've never had you be like, dude, I heard you you wear wool socks to bed. Like,
I
and
fucked
I'm
up
like,
then.
what?
I thought I thought I had done that with you then. Well, episode 4. Episode 4, it's coming.
We're going for it.
We're going for it in episode 4. Okay. All right.
It's been an honor, man.
No, it's been a
All
lot of
3
fun.
times.
It's always good to catch up with you. You are, like I said, one of my favorite people in the scene.
It's mutual.
Or just one of my favorite people in general.
Thank you.
Does not necessarily in the music scene.
Appreciate you.
And yeah, as as people have seen, the Nardwar questions still pop up. I apologize, I didn't get any for you. I almost felt like it would be a bit.
You're like, I already know you. Like,
yeah. Maybe it would have been fun.
I love
for
seeing
the
them though on your episodes. Like,
Thank you, I appreciate
people are
that.
genuinely,
They're a lot of fun.
shocked sometimes.
They're
yeah.
a lot of fun. Yeah. The problem with the one issue I always, you would have a short list.
Yeah.
Of sources, you'd know where they
True.
probably
Yeah.
most were coming from. We have too much overlap. I know your people. You know my people know me too well. It works better when we don't know each other
And
as
they're like,
well.
Yo,
I think.
Who do you talk to? Like,
Yeah. That shock value, I think,
Yeah.
hits more. But no, listen, I am enjoying everything you're doing as always.
sir.
I'm
You as
excited to
well.
hear more.
I'm happy to see the success, man.
Thank you. Likewise. And I'm excited to hear what you got coming out next. It sounds like there's more.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm still enjoying Blue Green Casino, and you should be too. Make sure you check it out. It's linked in the description.
I'm not slowing down this time.
I love it.
I got new stuff on the way. But yeah, I like that you said Blue Green Casino. It's still out. It's still
Still
new.
out. Yeah.
Not
We're
giving up on that.
No. We're not just like on to the next thing, but
Yep.
Blue Green Casino.
Yep.
Maeko, thanks again for being here. The last thing that you should do for me is look in that left side camera and let the good people know where they can find you. Anyone else you want to shout out would be huge. And the floor is
This
yours.
camera, right?
Yeah, that one.
All right. I'm Maeko. You can find me anywhere at Maeko Says, MaekoSays. And I'm on all the platforms, all the different spots you listen to music. Check out my YouTube, though, because I have, for this project particularly, I have a few music videos I'm really proud of. So I think it's a good place to start, if I were to suggest. But do what you want.
I love it. If you're a fan of Maeko, just being introduced to us for the first time, you can follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram and TikTok. You can hit up our website, turntableteachers.com. And as I mentioned, if you are an artist, podcaster, content creator of any kind, be sure to reach out to us at aoastudios.org, especially if you're on the North Shore or greater Boston area. We are one of the premier studios up on this area. So
I
feel free
second that.
Appreciate that, Maeko. Feel free to check us out. Yeah. But once again, this was the 3rd episode.
Yep. Wide ranging.
With
Social media addiction to sushi Ritos.
And that's a great way to end it.
Thanks,
For
man.
Sushi Ritos and for social media addiction, I'm Mike. That's
And I'm Maeko.
That's Maeko. This is the Turntable Teachers Podcast, and class is officially dismissed.